welcome to LOOPSIO Yaps EP03. This year we've had such an incredible journey with two guests, and to close off the year today we have Ashleigh. Ashleigh, for the users that don't know you yet, would you like to explain what you do?
Hi everyone, I'm Ashleigh and I am the creator of the Yattle app.
Perfect. Before we talk more about that, I'd like to learn more about your journey and your story and how that led to Yattle, an app that connects employers and youth talent. I know that you've done a diverse range of roles, from being an air hostess, a lecturer, then a creative director. I was wondering if you had a common thread in all those roles.
Probably not really a common thread, I would say, that's led me to doing what I'm doing in terms of the career. I think I've had a what we would call a squiggly career, or in our DYW terminology, no wrong path in terms of moving around different sectors, but actually taking transferable skills across all of those roles. I think the common thread has been around my willingness to try and make sure that young people have access to the workplace. And that started probably around 15, 16 years ago when I was working in events and I had the opportunity to take on an intern to show them what the real world of working in
Yeah.
events was like, as opposed to what they were studying. And I found that to be really fulfilling and really
Yeah.
valuable. And I've had the opportunity to do that in all of the roles that I've had. I've been very lucky being able to make the decision to bring people into the organisation for work experience or internships or different types of ways of finding out about work. And I suppose what really fulfills me around that is the fact that I know that I've had experiences and my friends and family have had experiences around people making judgments, perhaps,
Yeah.
around the background, the school they went to. And I really feel passionate about giving opportunities to those that might not have the opportunities that other people have. And I've been able to do that as part of my career. And I think that's what's led me to where I am now.
Wow. That was so long ago, 16 years. So when you first met that intern, did you expect that you would end up making this impact at scale? Like instead of one person, now you're actually helping thousands of maybe students, people that actually don't go through university paths. Did you expect that you would be in
Well, no,
the
not at the
Chamber of
time.
Commerce?
Because yeah, well, I was working in events at the time. I actually knew some of the people working at the Chamber of Commerce, because the organisation I worked for was a member of the chamber. So I knew a lot of the people there. I knew what they did. I liked what they did, and I thought it looked like a fun place to work. I didn't actually think I would end up working here.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate to take a role and actually work with the people who I met at that time. They're still within the chamber, and I still get to work with them now every day.
That's so nice. It's like another reencounter, right? But you both have different roles and working towards the same goal. Then, what were some challenges that you found that made you decide to start Yaddle? Was it the intern or was it all those experience that led to what was really not working for them?
So there was a few things that led us to do this. The first was around some experiences we had on projects. So we were fortunate to deliver a number of projects during COVID, and what we realised there is that there was no real understanding, I think,
Mhm.
on the best way to recruit young people. And as we started to work through other projects, we started to get feedback from a number of businesses that they wanted to recruit young people. They just weren't quite sure how to reach them.
Mhm.
So there were a couple of areas that led us to this. The first one was during some projects that we were undertaking in COVID, and we realised that there was a bit of a challenge for businesses on how they engaged with young people and recruited people and did them. And then that was compounded by some feedback that we had from businesses around the fact that they really wanted to engage with young people, but were struggling to do that. So we were very fortunate to get some funding from Glasgow City Council to help us explore the
Yeah.
problem and try to understand where the real challenges were. And that's what led to the development of Yattle.
Yeah. So did you do like a research project around it first to get like qualitative feedback from both perspectives, right? Because you know already the struggle of businesses, but did you know then what were the disconnection that young people had with these businesses?
So we took on we started to undertake some research on the back of the feedback from the businesses. When we started out on this venture, we made sure that anything we were going to do was co-designed with young people. It had to be a 50-50% partnership with young people. So we did a lot of focus groups. We brought on an intern from the University of Strathclyde who was doing a master's,
Yeah.
and they volunteered with us for 2 days a week to do some work around this and help us actually present the case as to what we should do. So we engaged with lots of different third sector organisations and lots of young people across the city, not only in the challenges that they were having, but would an app
Mhm.
actually work for them? Would it be
Yeah.
something that they would use? We also ran a hackathon with over
Wow.
100
Yeah.
young people to say, if we're going to develop an app, what should it
Yeah.
look like? What should it
Yeah.
include? What are the challenges that you have? How could we overcome them with an app? So that was hosted by JP Morgan Chase and a lot of the
Mhm.
stakeholders that we had identified the problem with. For example, Arnold Clark, the Scottish Event Campus, they all participated within that hackathon to help us speak to young people and help us understand what the real challenges were.
Wow. It just so many things led to you working with Loopsio, all those experiences before. And as a computer science student myself, it's so nice to see that an app directed for young people also seeks solutions from the young people. So after you had this clear idea, what made you think that Loopsio was the right company to work with?
So we really just went out to market to see who could actually develop this for us. And again, I took um, lots of advice from people on who would be people that we should use. And as being part of the chamber, thankfully, we have lots of advisors that we can consult with. So there were a few businesses that we looked at, but we had been recommended LOOPSIO by Joe, who was
Yeah.
one of the other podcast participants.
Yeah.
And then we spoke to a few other people within the university, within the Glasgow City Innovation District, around would that be a good fit for us? So we took the proposal from Loopsio and one other business to the stakeholder group to ask their opinion, because again, this has to be 50-50,
Yeah.
not just our opinion, but the stakeholders had to be part of this too. And the technology or the way it was going to be developed by Loopsio was attractive, but also the fact that it was a Glasgow-based company,
Yeah.
because we do want to help businesses and we want to be using businesses within Glasgow. But lastly, the fact that it offered young people work experience. And for us, the story around a Glasgow-based company who offers work experience to young people to develop an app that's developing an app for young people
Yeah. It all
really it
comes back
really
full
just
circle,
worked
right?
with our mission, with the social value that we wanted to create. So it seemed as though that was the obvious choice for us when we were going to develop the app.
Yeah. Was this your first time working with a software company?
Yes, it was indeed. Thankfully, I had brought on kind of chief technology officer who works with us a day a week because I know that I'm not a good technology customer. And I needed someone who could help me. So they were fully on board as well. And I've learned a huge amount over this past year as we've been developing the MVP and now developing it more based on the feedback that we're getting from customers.
Yeah. I know that you work with various people, and the process of redesigning the whole Yattle app took input of so many people, the developers, the designers, your advisor, and also Omar. Um, how did you manage to balance all these opinions and decide what was right for Yattle?
So we still continue to work with young people throughout. So anything that was proposed, we would take it back to young people that we're working with and ultimately give them the final decision on any areas of design or any areas of workflow. So it's very much making sure that their opinion is fully incorporated into everything that we do. We also work with students from City of Glasgow College. We have an internal young persons working group. So they're responsible for helping us with the copy, with selecting the colours, etc. So whilst we had an input into what we thought was good, the ultimate decisions were with the young people.
Yeah. Did you have any expectations, or what were your first impressions before and after working with all students and LOOPSIO?
I don't think I had any expectations. What I've been really impressed with is how they find solutions to some of the challenges that we have, and how the young people who are developing the app have put their own spin on it. And we were quite clear, I think, at the beginning that we wanted to hear their opinions as well. They weren't just coding the app. We wanted them to tell us, do you think this would work? Who,
Yeah.
who could be our target audience, or your brothers or sisters could be your target audience? How would they use it, or how would they do it? So I've been really impressed with how the young people have taken what we've asked for
Yeah.
and been able to do it with their own spin on it, but really understood the challenge of what we're looking to do as well, and thought through what the problem is and how people would use it.
Yeah. After you launch Yattle, what were the first opinions from the users and the businesses?
There's a couple of ways that people speak to us about the app. When I tell people the ethos behind what we're doing and why we're doing it and the challenges that it helps people overcome,
Yeah.
almost everyone says this is really needed. So in terms of what we're looking to achieve, there seems to be a huge backing behind what it is we're trying to do with the app. In terms of what the app looks like and the functionality, everyone says it's fun, it's vibrant, it's easy to use. We do get questions to say, is there an age limit on this? Is there an age limit for the jobs? Because
Yeah.
obviously we've been using the opinions of young people to design it, and really the answer is no. It's about people getting access to accessible positions, but it has been developed by people who are digitally native, people who've been brought up with digital, people who have expectations on the functionality of how things should work and how things should look, and aren't actually bogged down really with what a traditional CV or a job advert should look like. They're just helping us redesign it. So I think the feedback has been universally positive around what we're doing and how we built it.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. You probably had like a lot of features to balance, and like taking the input from the stakeholders, but also maintaining the focus on users. What were the things that you prioritize in this redesign process? What were things that you thought, oh, these are indispensable, like right now, like that will close the gap between users and the businesses?
So there's lots of features that we think are quite unique in terms of what we're looking to do. So one of the areas that we've worked on is sometimes the confusion around qualifications. And if you have been in the workforce for a while, you might not quite understand all the qualifications that are in the landscape. So we've incorporated the Scottish Credit and Qualifications Framework into the app so that there shouldn't be a challenge with how participants and employers are speaking about the level of qualifications. We have put functionality into the app to help people articulate their skills and actually what skills they might have based on the hobbies that they have, so that they don't have to really come up with that themselves, and we're giving a lot of prompting. The video aspect of the app was huge, and that was probably the leading thing that the consultation groups told us that they wanted, was that real experiential view of what a job could look like or would look like if they were to actually be successful within the
Yeah.
job. The notifications and chat function was another area, because obviously people are really used to instant chat or those
Yeah.
notifications, not so much around looking at their emails, and we know that from previous experience that we have. But lastly, I think it's around making visible the opportunities that are relevant for the audience that we have. So actually aggregating all of the opportunities that are out there into one place, and that's for the job seekers essentially, but also for the employers, actually making sure that we are making sure that the app is going to be out there in all the places that young people are, either they're studying or potentially looking for jobs. So that's about their place of study or where they are on social media. So we're making sure that we're connected into all of the
Yeah.
right places, and perhaps connected to the places where employers wouldn't get access to without a mechanism like this.
Yeah. I love the idea of putting the video within the app so you know it's like an immersion, right? Is it like a filmed one or is it like a walk through like the office and maybe there's avatars like employees kind of imitating how they talk to you? How does it really look like?
So the what we were told was a day in the life video was what would be most important. So we have a few examples on the app that we've helped employers create. And it is really that walkthrough of what does the office look like? Who are the other people within the office? What do you do at certain types of the day? And what does your job actually entail? We give we give employers the option to do that how they like to do it. Some employers just have an employee sitting on a chair talking about their job.
Yeah.
Some have just music and shots of the area where people will be working. But it's really about the employers generating the content and positioning themselves and putting what they want people to see to make them an employer of choice and make the opportunity as attractive to participants as possible.
Yeah. I like the idea of putting the hobbies too, because sometimes in when you're recruiting someone, you only see their technical skills, right? Like the grades, the courses you've done, but as a person, there is more than that, right? You want to see a well-rounded picture of an applicant. Do you think that businesses before that were more focused on that than the whole picture? So that's why Yattle is helping more to bridge the gap between the student, no, people that haven't gone through like university paths and the businesses.
I think it's about a different way of looking at how you can see a well-rounded person. If you are a young person that's just leaving school, then perhaps you're not able to articulate the skills that you have. And we know through a lot of the work we do that young people learn so much when they're at schools, and they've got such great hobbies that they are building up all of these transferable skills, but they wouldn't necessarily tell people that those were the skills they had or know how to articulate them. So that's why we try and use the skills and hobbies area to be able to translate what skills people might have through the hobbies or the interests that they currently have. For example, if someone plays sports, we know that they could have leadership, communication, teamwork,
Yeah.
physical fitness, perhaps. So actually, we suggest some of those skills based on the hobbies that they have. But we also give applicants the opportunity to put in some key achievements so that they could talk about things that they've achieved either at school or out with their academic career. And we also allow young people to upload videos as well. And we have recently recruited someone through the app, and it was one of the applicants who had uploaded a video of themselves.
Yeah.
It was a marketing role, and they did their own day in the life video as part of an application to show us how they would perform within the role. So it was a completely different way of looking at an application than the traditional CV that would come in.
That is such an innovative way to apply. So I guess there's different routes. You can put if they have a CV on, they can upload it, but by what you're saying, I guess there's other ways that you can showcase yourself.
So we don't ask for a CV at all. We ask for a profile, and the profile is essentially someone's CV. But then we allow or ask people to add some more information just to give a better rounded picture of who they are and what they can bring to individual roles. So they can still put a covering letter, but that could be as a letter, it could be as a video, it could be both. It's really about adding information that shows who they are and how they're suited to that role out with a traditional CV structure.
Is there any lesson that you learned about the whole process of making this product? Because I guess some of the features you didn't know were needed at the start, but I guess as the more you work on them, more things came to you. So how did you balance, oh, I have these priorities, but also I know that this is starting to become very important. How did you decide which ones to omit and which ones to prioritize?
Well, it was really based on feedback
Yeah.
from people who are using it. So, taking feedback from both the employers who were helping us develop it and also the young people, we had to prioritise which were the most important things to do. And now we're out to market and people are using it. We are creating our development pathway again based on how people are using it, and people are using it in ways that we hadn't expected, and that's good
Yeah.
because they are using it. So we just have to make some changes to make it a lot smoother for them and make it a better journey. But there have been so many things that have happened that have been unexpected, but nothing has been bad. It's all
Yeah.
been very positive around actually, could you make this improvement or that improvement, or it'd be really good if it could do this. We have had to say we can't do that right now. That's not
Yeah.
something that is been requested enough or is something that will be relevant to a number of people. But we're keeping all of the feedback and all of the suggestions so that we can get to it. And we've just got it all prioritised in different levels as we move along the journey.
Yeah, so I guess it's everything is about continuous learning and knowing what is working and what is not. I was wondering if Yattle was part of a bigger vision that the Chamber of Commerce was looking at. I know that Yattle is one of the products, but is there more that is in the plans, or is Yattle having new faces? Like, what's what's the future of this vision in Yattle?
So Yattle really has, or we see that Yattle has a place within employability in terms of helping to make sure that businesses are getting the talent that they need and the talent that they want. We've tried to design it so that it's supplementary to everything else. So, yes, there's a much bigger vision for Yattle. As part of the chamber, we are here to champion Glasgow, and part of that is around economic development, it's around supporting businesses. And we really want businesses to be able to access the talent that we know is out there,
Yeah.
but try and make it easier for them. And this is about taking away some of those challenges. So at the moment, it's really about finding and recruiting young people, but we want to make sure that we are enhancing that with lots of other services that wrap around that to make sure that people really know how to interview young people and onboards into these posts as well. So it's a real support system for employers and also for young people. But we're also making sure that as we're developing this, we're doing it alongside other people who also operate in the employability landscape. And we're tapping into the services that are already available and making sure that we can bring them in to the app too. So it's about hopefully making it a much easier journey for recruitment of entry level posts that has a full service that sits around about it. So please keep your eyes peeled to Yattle because we've got such big plans around how we create a really good service for accessing these roles.
Yeah. If I was one of them, I would feel very reassured that someone like you is rooting for me so much. And I hope that the people listening to this, whether they're students or just young talent in Scotland right now, that, you know, Ashleigh is doing a lot of work and you're making them, feel seen to the employers that are out there. Um, Hearing this makes me feel very inspired, but now I want to know more about your future aspirations and the lessons you've learned about this, and what was your mindset when things didn't really go as you planned?
Um, I think I've never really known where this is going to go. I think when we started this, it was around let's try and do something to help, and we didn't really know what that was. I'm not sure if I'd known where it would lead that I would have actually started in the first place. But it was about taking a bit of a leap of faith that if you do the right thing, then it will actually work out in the end. There is always a challenge. Every week we come across something different. But what I found is that anybody that I ask for help or ask for advice, they always say yes and they always give me their opinion and they always try and help. So
Yeah.
getting great advice from people who know so much more than me has been really helpful. But also that continuous feedback has been great too, because people are being very honest about actually that bit doesn't work, we'd like to see this change or keep going in that direction is also really, really helpful because I know that I don't have all of the answers and Omar and the team don't have all of the answers. But
Mhm.
actually, if we reach out to lots of people who are round about us, then we can get really, really good advice and get back on the pathway, even when things are challenging.
Yeah. There was a thing that Joanna said. It was always taking the meeting. Do you have anything like that too, where you are seeking for people's advice and you don't really mind if you have a lot of meetings because you're probably busy, but what makes you like just keep going towards, your purpose and building Yattle and maybe like future projects?
I think it's really about the impact, knowing the impact that we can make. As I say, we always get the feedback to say that this is really needed, and any projects that we do, we get the real benefit of being able to actually speak to the people who use the service or are part of the project and hear what they think at the end of it. So it's about knowing that we've impacted in a very small way in somebody's life and someone's positive journey. And that's really what keeps me, keeps the team going, is knowing that we're doing some good in the world.
Yeah. Do you think that in the next 2 years, Yattle could be implemented UK wide, or you want to focus first on the Scotland system first and then scale more?
I think Yattle has lots of potential. It could go in so many different ways. For me, what I want to see is that lots of people have got jobs through it. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing for me. That the scale is about people actually enjoying the experience, and being able to access opportunities. Where we take it in terms of scale, in terms of functionality, is is exciting, but not
Yeah.
quite as exciting as knowing that people are going to get real value for it. And that's what's driving me, is how do we make that change for lots of people.
Yeah. Maybe even one of the listeners will end up doing something that impacts people. Where do you think that right now in Scotland there's opportunities that maybe potential founders can get advice from, or like where can they seek this? Do you think it's the Scottish enterprise system is helpful for these people that are aspiring to be founders?
I think there's a real focus at the moment, on entrepreneurialism and supporting entrepreneurs, from those who just have an idea to those who've started something and those looking to scale up. There's a huge amount of support out there. You have to just try and find it and ask people. But in my experience, there's lots of support that's available through local authorities, through Scottish Enterprise, through accelerator programs, through universities. So if you have an idea, seek out some of the help, because there is help out there to start to create things.
Yeah, I love that everyone is just very, very open to help. When you're in the when you're in the role of like a young person, you get very scared because it feels like so far and you put maybe the employers in like another scale of where you are. But from what you said about Yattle, it feels like they really, really want to engage with the young people and have them there. Um, do you think that this do you think that Yattle wants to like close the gap between that, making employers also feel more approachable?
Yes, absolutely. It's around making them the employer of choice and making them attractive. That's really what employers were telling us when we started out on this journey, is how do we differentiate ourselves from other people? How do we tell people how great we are as an employer, and all of the great things that we can do. So it's really a mechanism to try and get that information to young people who would potentially be someone that's going to be working within their business.
Yeah. Is there any other new feature that Yattle is kind of in the works right now, or is it more about gathering what people are thinking of the platform?
It's both. So we're taking lots of feedback, but we're also developing a few new features at the moment. And as I say, we've got a bank of features that we're just about to prioritise and see which ones we should work on at the moment. But it's really about getting our name out there just now and getting people to use it, and give us the feedback. We need both job seekers and jobs on the platform. So it's really about balancing and making sure that we have enough of both so that we can get the right outcomes for people. But we're also looking at lots of other things that we can do to help support the app and support job seekers and employers in doing that. So there'll be other things Yattle related that we'll be launching soon too.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Before we finish the Yap, I would love to know how your day to day is and just to kind of resemble what Yatel does, but what do you do in your day-to-day life? What do you think is your ideal day? Because you probably work with a lot of people, and I wonder if you get tired sometimes, but also something makes you want to keep going and keep doing this, keep doing Yatel, working for the young talent. What is it?
So my day is generally just meeting lots of people and having lots of conversations with them. And even when you're having a bad day, a conversation can just turn that around. As Joanna said, I always get something positive from a meeting. I either learn something, or I make a new connection, or I have a new idea. So generally, when I look back, even if it's a day that thought, just how am I going to get through this one? By the end, I'll have had a conversation with someone who has inspired me, or given me a new idea, or given me great feedback. So I can generally reflect back on the day and know that I've done something worthwhile for one of the projects that I'm working on.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And I can't wait what else you're working for in the future and how Yaddle evolves. I hope that our listeners really enjoy this conversation too. And whoever, doesn't choose to go on a university path also has another chance, which is equally as good. They can use Yaddle and they can find a suitable business to work for them.
Yeah, and there's also information on there about different things that employers are doing as well. So it's not just about jobs. So people can go onto the app and see if there's a recruitment fair, or an employer's having a webinar about apprenticeship, or a training course that's available. So there's information on there too around jobs. It's not just the opportunities themselves. So even if they are looking for something else, they can go on there. If they are at university, then we should have some part-time jobs or volunteering opportunities as well. So hopefully there's lots of information around the world of work across our city that people are interested in seeing, and the app can be of some help.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I really enjoyed our conversation, and maybe we can see you in another episode. I'll be
Thank
very
you,
excited.
thank you so much for inviting me on, and thank you for your time. And yeah, anything else, just let us know.
Yes, thank you.